Hey, Tourpreneurs, it's Mitch Bach, and just a quick note before we begin today's episode. Tourpreneur is currently sponsored by Google. We're thankful for their support of our community, and we are offering with them a completely free course helping you unlock the power and potential of Google's Things to Do program, which is specifically helping tour operators add their tours to Google in new ways that gives you new exposure and more direct bookings. To learn more, go to tourpreneur.com/Google. And as always, show notes, more resources, links to our newsletter, our business coaching community, and so much more are available on tourpreneur.com. Now to the episode.
Today's episode of the Tourpreneur podcast is kindly sponsored by Checkfront, the booking platform trusted by over 5,000 tour and activity operators around the world. This month, Checkfront is offering an exclusive 90-day free trial for tourpreneurs. Find out more at checkfront.com/tourpreneur.
Welcome to the Tourpreneur podcast. Travel industry veteran Shane Whaley will take you on a journey with fellow tourpreneurs, sharing their tips, ideas, insights, and success stories to inspire you to make your tour business the best it can be. And now, here is your host, Shane Whaley.
And welcome to Tourpreneur. It is the 30-day tour operator challenge, and we are on day 24. Joining us on the show today is Angela Heald. How are you, Angela?
I'm great. I can't believe there's less than a week left.
I know. It's flying by. It really is. But this challenge is great. I'm getting some good feedback from our listeners because these are very practical, pragmatic tips that we can apply as we plan ready for 2021. What's on today's docket?
Shane, are you familiar with the concept of time batching?
No, I'm not. You're going to have to enlighten me.
Okay, so basically what it means is that you set a certain amount of time aside to focus on one type of task. It's supposed to increase efficiency because you don't waste time switching context in your brain when you jump between different types of tasks.
So a good example of that would be for each of our daily episodes. Each day I will create the logo and the image and add that day's title in, but I do it daily. What you're suggesting is I probably should have done all 30 before starting the challenge.
That's exactly what I'm suggesting. So if you had put aside 2 or 3 hours of time and you were totally focused on designing just the Instagram post for this 30-day challenge, those would be completely out of the way, and it's meant to be much more efficient than you doing it ad hoc as it comes up.
And so this batch design is purely for graphic design?
Yeah, so today's challenge, time batching can be used for anything, writing content, recording podcasts, whatever it might be. But specifically for today's challenge, it is going to be around designing. So you will be batch designing promotional material today.
Do you have a favorite tool or app in which to create designs?
I do. I love Canva. I am not a designer, and Canva is really life-changing for me because not many of us can afford a designer. Some of us weren't born being blessed with, a beautiful design eye. So being able to create amazing designs by just clicking and dragging is a total lifesaver.
It really is. I have to say, when lockdown came in, that was one of my goals, was to finally sit down and learn Canva. I still have a lot more to learn, but I've had some very nice compliments about some of my logos and images the last couple of months. So I'll definitely take that because, again, I don't think it's hard to use Canva, but it's one of those things, again, that just takes time, doesn't it? You have to sit down and play around with it and try not to get too frustrated.
Yeah. And you know what? My biggest tip would be to make sure to try and use their templates. I always have much more success using a template they provide than trying to struggle through designing something from just a blank white box. It's very intimidating. And they have hundreds of templates that you can use, which I think start you off on a really great foot.
Absolutely. And I know you just said you're not a designer, but you have created images. What are a couple of tips? What are your kind of house rules when you're designing images?
There's a few things. I try to look for consistency of colors. So Canva has a color selector tool where you can enter hex codes and you can get very specific colors. So rather than using the sort of 6 or 8 or whatever that they feed you up front. Actually add your custom brand colors. Make sure you do that. And as well, you can upload your own media. So whether it be photographs or logos, it's actually, this challenge is a fantastic time to use the photos from the photography shoot that you planned on day 20. So it might be something as simple as using Canva to add a watermark of your logo, or something more complicated by adding brand colors or a promotional offer using one of the photos as a background. The sky's kind of the limit today, but the key part of the challenge is to time batch this task.
Yeah.
So you need to set aside 2 hours for it and no task switching. You might find this might be more efficient.
It's very difficult to do that. It's very difficult.
Yes, you have to hold yourself accountable.
You really do. And it's going to be one of those, I struggle with this myself. And I think you need to shut everything down, social media, email, maybe even switch your phone off, shock horror, and say, next 2 hours, I'm going to, get these images out and get them done. That's a great challenge. Tough one for me, that.
I think you should try this one, Shane.
No, I need to because there's certainly for the podcast and the various things around that what I really like with Canva though is a time saver is the resize option. I use that a lot where it'll resize it for each social channel like Instagram or Pinterest or Facebook or YouTube, and then I have my own dimensions for the website itself for the header image. So that's saves me a lot of time. But yeah, you're right. Maybe the start of every month I should just say, right, first Tuesday of every month, 2 till 4. I'm going to be batch editing and designing.
Yeah, if you do that, let us know how it goes.
I will. Marvelous. Well, thank you very much for joining us on day 24.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Tourpreneur podcast. Be sure to visit tourpreneur.com to join the conversation and access the show notes, including links to the resources mentioned on today's episode. This is Tourpreneur.